Hey everybody, I just was going to make this wee video because the live that I made the other day was absolutely brutal. So it was just in relation to a few people that I've been in contact with that have been talking to me about anxiety and sleeping and all of that kind of thing. And I have recorded a guided meditation. I've got a few other ones I've got to do as well, and sent them out to a couple of people who found them quite good for helping them to settle in their sleep. Um, but also a thing that I have found personally, and also that I've learned from my studies, is that to help our nervous system to downregulate, and that's very important for in order for us to calm and to settle, particularly at night before going to sleep. Oftentimes people need a little bit of weight on them, so not that we're exactly in 24 degrees, but it certainly has, the temperatures certainly have gone up slightly. So I'm not saying that you need to get a pile of wool blankets and heap them on top of you. But in our modern times, with our modern bedding, it's actually quite lightweight. Duvets can be quite light, and they don't have that same weight aspect that helps the nervous system to downregulate. I suppose when you think of our in our times of our ancestors, they would have had low sheepskins and things like that that would have been quite heavy and quite weighted. And I know you might go, well, we're not from 200, 2000 years ago. But it is laid down in our DNA to a certain degree. And also the modern bedding that we have is really only about, probably 40 odd years, really. I mean, I can actually remember getting my first duvet, and that was 40 years ago. And I can remember how light it felt. And recently, sometime last year, I was staying in a friend's house, and it had absolutely nothing to do with temperature. I was actually lovely and toasty and warm physically. But when I got into the bed, her duvets were, I don't know, was it like goose feather or something? Very, very light. That I actually got up and put my coat over the duvet because I had no sense of where it was when it was on me, if that makes sense. I know it sounds like a really weird thing. So in my clinic space, I have this rather large, it's a fleece blanket, so its weight isn't particularly, but I double it over. So it's not particularly heavy, really, but because it's quite big and I double it over, it has just enough weight that it really helps people to settle, I find, when they're on the bed. Um, I don't know if it's something, and I think it might be something about that kind of protection between you and the world, and it helps you just to be able to close your eyes and maybe drift off really comfortably. Um, so another thing that I would sometimes use, say if it's in summertime and you don't really want to use a blanket, a full body blanket, I have some quite light fleece ones. I often use this. It's a rice bag. It's a giant rice bag. The reason I use rice as opposed to wheat is only if in clinical practice that I have somebody who's got a wheat allergy. They could have a reaction of some description if I was using a wheat bag, but you could certainly use a wheat bag for this. So the thing I might do is place it on somebody's body from about their chest down to, I mean, on me, this hangs down to around my belly button. So if you can imagine if you were lying down, this is probably about, I don't know, about a kilo maybe in weight, something like that. And it's really quite a comforting thing to have on you. So that, even just that little bit of weight just in the center of your body, really can help your nervous system to downregulate. And when that happens, it can be very helpful to ease you into sleep. Now, it won't possibly change your financial bank account, or I don't know, if your kids are up wandering around, it won't help them to necessarily go back to sleep, but it can help you to downregulate your nervous system in some small way. And it doesn't require you being maybe roasting in your bed with 5 wool blankets over you. So it's just a little idea that I thought I'd share with you because, as I say, I had a couple of conversations with people in relation to helping them to sleep at night, and just finding they were really, really unsettled. So I thought I'd share that with you. Okay, so I hope it's of some use to somebody, and maybe you have even, I don't know, a couple of kilos of sugar, or if you're lucky enough to have a couple of kilos of flour or something. And that might just be just what you need to help your system to settle itself in order to drift off into a more restful sleep, I suppose. Anyway, I hope that was of some interest, and apologies for the dodgy live the other day. Thank you for your time.